When I tell people that fasting feels amazing and it's one of the best things I ever done for my body, I get a lot of raised eyebrows. How can you go without food for 12, 14, 16 hours or a whole day? People have all kinds of opinions about it. But here's the truth. For me, fasting wasn't a plan. It wasn't a program that I signed up for. It came naturally. And naturally means I didn't even know I was doing it. I simply wasn't hungry anymore. Let me tell you how that happened. I've read and heard so much about how low-carb, ketogenic way of eating could help you with some health issues, improve health. So I decided to slow down on carbs and see what happened. Now, I was never a big eater of starchy vegetables, grains, breads, pastas, or rice. And white sugar? I hadn't touched it in years. A decade, really. Except for the occasional celebration cake I would make for my family. But I was a fruit lover. Fruit was where most of my carbs were coming from. So that's what I decided to cut back on first. And almost immediately, I started noticing something. My appetite was going down. This was about 4 years ago. So I stopped reaching for snacks. My meals became mostly from non-starchy vegetables, from protein from eggs, cheese, fish, and occasionally from meat. Though I've never been a big meat eater. And nuts. Macadamia are still my favorite, along with walnuts and pecans. When I started noticing, I would wake up in the morning and simply not be hungry. I'd head straight to my workout, and I noticed how light I felt and how much more energy I had. My yoga poses got easier. Everything felt easier. That's when I discovered the Keto-Mojo, a device that measures blood glucose and ketones. And once I started tracking, I couldn't stop learning. I watched my numbers. I watched my body. And I realized I was in ketosis, sometimes in deep ketosis. That's why I had all the energy. That's why I wasn't hungry. In the first 6 months alone, I lost about 17 pounds. That is also when I started documenting my body composition alongside with my blood work, watching my lipids closely, and I was living low carb, and I loved the steadiness of that. No energy crashes, no starving between meals. I would eat early in the evening and not eat again until 11 or noon of next. I still live that way today. This is fasting. And again, it found me before I had a name for it. Back then, I didn't even know I was in ketosis. Now I understand my body well enough that I can read it without measuring a thing. Fasting scares people. I was the same way once. We were told you have to eat breakfast before you go with your day. I won't get into where that idea came from, but here's the truth. I never ate heavy breakfast. Maybe a piece of cheese, half a banana. I never had a donut for breakfast or a big carb-loaded plate for breakfast. And even that small bite was enough to start my day. Looking back now, through all my own observations and my studies and my testing, I can see exactly how my body responded to every small tweak made. I've experimented with saturated fat. I'm actually working on a separate video comparing my lipid numbers during a low-fat, low-saturated fat periods versus a higher saturated fat intake. That one is going to be fascinating. Stay tuned for that. These days, 17 hours is my minimum fasting window. Some days I push to 20, 22, and even 24 hours. And the longer I go, the less hungry I feel. But I stay mindful. I know I need to eat. I need calories. I need protein, especially at this stage of life, to properly support my body. And I live an active lifestyle. I walk every afternoon, or in the evening. I do hot yoga, and I do power yoga 3-4 times a week. I lift weights, and I build and what I call the exercise snacks throughout the day. In fact, I keep a kettlebell sitting right here on my desk. And it's my reminder, between building my YouTube channel, which had become actually my second career this past few months, I can get so absorbed in a computer that hours pass. But that kettlebell is right there. So I get up and I do some squats, some swings, some lifts. That's the part of my day now. Here's something that fascinated me too back when I first went low carb and I stopped being hungry. I'd mention it to practitioners, and they'd wonder why. I didn't have an answer back then, but I do now. And here's another funny story. About 4 years ago, I woke up in the middle of the night. You know how it goes, 2 a.m., mind racing, can't sleep. So I got up, opened YouTube, and came across to Dr. Boss talking about the Sardine challenge. It's the first time I actually heard her, and how it helped many people to help with insulin resistance and overall health. And I loved sardines all my life, so I said, 72 hours could change my cravings completely. I thought, I'm already halfway there. So I did it. And it was icing on the cake. My entire relationship with food changed. It was a real breakthrough, because for my whole life, even though my long career before this one, I always believed that I needed healthy snacks close by. Nuts, seeds, dried fruit, always something in reach. But after the low-carb foundation and that sardine challenge, I felt like a completely different person. Reborn, honestly. I still send in messages to Dr. Bones once in a while just to thank her again. My husband joined me for a couple of rounds of it, and it's funny now, but back then, he was genuinely upset with me. You ruined me, he said. I'm not hungry for food anymore. And this is a man who loves to eat, a true foodie. He was almost scared by it, but he lost about 27 pounds over that same stretch of time doing low carb alongside me. He felt great. He looked great. We were both thriving, and neither of us was hungry. And that is the story of my fasting journey.